Hi, welcome again to Beaverbrook, my HO scale shelf layout set in Moncton, New Brunswick. And another chance to debrief the week, talk about what's been going on here, if you can hear me at all, that is, over the drone of this ex-Canadian national sweep. So it's interesting that they've arrived today. They appear to have picked up a tank from the PI Chem Works further down the spur. So hopefully it won't make switching too complicated this evening, because we've only got 2 cars for this end of the line. Anyway, let's get on. Who knows how long this is going to last for? Probably 10-15 minutes before I've had enough this evening. But actually, what we'll probably do is, how about this? We do a bit of switching with sound, we knock the sound off, do a bit of talking, and then wrap things up. Anyway, without further ado, let's bring it down. So the sweep is a kit from Caslow Shops in Canada. It's mounted on a Lifelike Proto 2000 Alco S1 S2 chassis. So we've got 2 cars at the front of the layout on the transload spur, empties that need replacing with that CP box, 50-foot box that's in the train. What I'll do, because we've only got 2 cars here, because we've only got 2 cars and the head shunt will take 2 cars, we may as well just do a quick switch here, which won't take quite so long. So we will switch this on to the co-op spur, but we will have to place them back into the arrival siding before we go and get the empty from the co-op mill later. So if you only just joined me, thanks for tuning in this evening. As I said in the intro, we're going to do a bit of game of two halves. We'll have sound and not much commentary for the beginning, and then I'll turn the loco sound off and we'll have a bit of a chat about the week. It's funny, isn't it, that since most of the action really happens down here where these two turnouts are, get the last building to be sort of mocked up or turned from a mock-up into sort of finished structure is actually here. Such is life. If you go back through the channel, you'll find videos from when the layout was very early, and all the structures were just in cardboard, cereal boxes. So we're just picking up the cars we came with, and we'll take both. Both across to the front spur. So you're actually watching pretty much where I am stood, and I'm half closing one eye and picturing myself trackside. So if you go back through recent operational videos and live videos, you'll realise that the 3 cars that are spotted at the end of the operating session, they stay on the layout, but the 3 cars, or the 2 or 3 cars we leave with, are switched out every time for the next session. And usually the locomotive is swapped over as well. Just rings the changes, keeps it fresh, keeps me coming back every week. I haven't operated it this week, I've been away, but it's nice to come home to. And the popper's down here out of the way. So that's the CP car spotted. What we'll do now is we'll go and pick up those 2 empties, the 2 50-foot empties we picked up a second ago, or a few minutes ago here, and we'll move those over across to the front of the sidings to clear the way then down to get to the mill. And the head shunt at the end of the layout beyond that turnout is 3 cars and a loco long, so that won't be a problem with the grain car and the 2 50-foot cars. You always got to. You'd think such a straightforward layout like this would be dead easy to operate, but there's just enough complexity to keep you switched on's really not the right word, but keep you on your toes. Stimulates you enough to be able to sort of switch off from the day. Sorry, we're a long way down the layout now, aren't we? I'll move the camera again. In fact, let's come down here. hurt my thing, isn't it? Right, so that's half the operation done. Let's come back down here again. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to try and give you a bit of a wider view, and hopefully you'll be able to see me as well. And we'll turn the sound off, and we'll peace, and we'll do the rest in quiet. So this is when you really tell how smooth the locomotive is, isn't it? When it's not masked by noise. So I hope you're all well. I hope you've had a good week. This time last week we were tinkering with Paxton Road, which is actually just over my shoulder over here. What's nice now is that if you can see me, I'm assuming you can, that you can see this layout is eye level. I'm looking into it. This is how I experience it. And it's a lovely place to come. It's been a busy week. I've been down, if you read my Friday update, it gives you a bit of a rundown of what I've been up to, modelling and otherwise, and I've been down in Pembrokeshire this week, visiting my mum. Sadly her brother, my uncle, passed away tail end of last week, so I was just going down to see her, make sure she was okay. A couple of hours drive. I live in North Wales, she lives in South Wales. Yeah, it's always a nice break down there, obviously for sad reasons, but it's a good place for the soul. We had some nice walks, and it was good to spend some time with her. And then when I got back, obviously I haven't had a chance to do much in the way of commission work, but I've done a bit of my own stuff. I came back to find a model I bought and a bit of retail therapy, the Dapple Pacer, that had arrived. Really delighted with that, really delighted. Was reticent for a long time, ummed and ahed about it, kept thinking in the photos and the reviews it didn't quite look like a Pacer somehow, but in the flesh it looks like a Pacer, and I chose a good livery I think as well. The Northern Spirit livery is probably the one that hides the errors of the original model the best. And then yesterday, it was only yesterday, it's mad, we went to collect a puppy for my daughter. If you are a regular, you'll know I've got a miniature dachshund called Bronwen, who quite often appears in photos or sometimes even in video. She's not so sure about this chocolate brown Labrador pup. She'll get there. We're still very early days, but it's going all right, as well as I expected. Done managed a little bit of weathering, and I've done a little bit of sketching and illustration as well for myself. So there's a layout design post tomorrow to have a look at. The Class 08 I showed you in the last week's live operational video, the cut down Class 08, that's now finished, bar just a tiny bit of airbrushed exhaust at some point. So that'll be up on the blog soon. Oh, we might have a problem here. This is what happens when you introduce the wild card. So we've got the caustic soda tank from PI Chem. Might cause me a headache because there's not quite enough space to fit 4 cars in here. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to put it in the this front spur, I think, and then come back with the other one. So it's strange operating it without noise, because this whole layout is very much about the experience of being trackside, remembering that experience, my 9-year-old experience of being trackside, literally watching Jeep 30H switch at Drumheller. It's like etched into my being. And so I suppose out of all of the current operational fleet, this sweep is probably the favourite at the moment. You know, an XCN livery, which is great for that connection point, but also it runs really beautifully slowly. It sounds interesting too, doesn't it? It's an ESU Locksound 5 with the sound profile from a GMD1, which is about the closest I think I could get to what a sweep should sound like. So, having never heard one, I don't know how close it is. So yeah, it's been a funny old week. You know, I wasn't that close to my uncle, but it does make you think. I was reflecting, I suppose, that actually I've achieved a lot in recent years, and I'm really proud of the books and making a successful go of the business, and Planet Industrials doing the Victory. Got some work on some new projects and things, but I'm very proud of everything I've achieved and quite content with that, actually. And you know, there's still things I'd like to do and places I'd like to visit, but I'm not sat thinking or wishing there's things that I haven't done yet that I really, really must do, or I don't feel unfulfilled. Far from it. So that was quite a nice reflection, a gift, if you like, of that situation. It's just to realise that, and how that makes us feel then about ourselves and about life and about the other problems in our lives and worries that we have around money, or you know, perhaps an annoying individual that you know, I'm not talking about myself. You know, we all have challenges, don't we, whether it's at work or home or family. But these moments just make us think a little bit, and that's good. That's a good thing. I suppose the other thing that's happened this week is I've sent the invoices out for Compendium 2. So the order book for that's now closed. I'm making what has been ordered, and that will be it. So thank you to everyone who has ordered, if you're one of those people. Really excited to see what people think. It's always nice to get something that you've made in your hands, you know, and I'm looking forward to holding it and seeing the articles and things, you know, in the flesh and to touch and that tangible aspect, but also just the nature of slowing down to look at it. You know, this evening, before I came on here, my iPad is upstairs charging, my phone was in here charging, my computer's in the drawer. I didn't have a device. I was like, oh, okay. There's a book beside the sofa, an old book. Picked that up. Absolutely, you know, wired to start with, but you know, with that, before too long, slowing down enough to get lost in it and enjoying it, and then before I knew it, I was just soaking it all up again. And that's the glory of books, isn't it? In that tangible nature, they can switch us off from the worries and angst, and we can get excited by the possibilities of the photos and images and information they contain, or at least that's how I see them. So yeah, that was quite nice earlier. Reminded me of that feeling I'm hoping to get when Compendium 2 arrives. And in my travelling around this week, in the 7 hours of driving I've done, it's probably more than that, but the 7 hours of driving to Pembrokeshire, I started thinking about the fact that I probably do need to put in some time into to crack on with the small layout design Well, I did call it a small layout design companion, sort of a play on the model railway companion name, but I think it's going to get confusing because I'm going to do a second one of them, so I don't really want to call it something that's too similar. So I'm thinking it's probably going to get just called the Small Layout Design Handbook 2. Oh, come up with all the best names, eh? Full of a load more plans that I've not published. I mean, they've been on the blog, but they've not been on paper. Doesn't that look great? Doesn't that look absolutely great? Without the sound on it, just, oh, superb. Sorry. Yeah, so that's a project I want to get on with, but I'm going to need to make some time to do it, because otherwise I just won't have a chance. There'll always be something better to do than sit down and write it, so I'm going to force myself to make a start probably in the next week or so. I've got a sort of bullet pointed list of chapters, but no real text. All the images and design pieces are there. There's a few sketches to do on some construction methods and things. The idea is it's going to be a build on the previous one. So, and whereas the art was about the feeling and the stories, if we're going a bit back to basics, there's been a bit of demand for how do you build these cameo boxes, how do you wire these cameo boxes, what do you do for your lighting, all these sorts of questions. I thought, well, I'll tell you what, like Ian Rice did with his cameo book, I'll just write it all down, and I know it's out there already and some of it's rehashed, and if I've not reinvented the wheel, I'll obviously say where I got the ideas from, but it will all be together, so you'll be able to buy James Hilton's complete story of small model railways, basically, if you buy the first and the second together. So for anyone who's got the first, it'll be a nice add-on, but hopefully for people who are just starting out, it might just be enough to get them going, because I will sort of touch very briefly, I'll give a very brief precis, whatever the word is anyway, of what the material in the first book was. So last job here now is to go back and get the Saskatchewan car from the front spur. We had to place it there, didn't we, because there wasn't enough space in the arrival departure road. So with half term next week, I'm not sure what's going to be happening. I hope you all are well and have got plans for yourself as well as family, so that we need to look after ourselves, don't we? Railway of some form, whether it's a model railway in your own home or visiting somewhere. I mean, I know a lot of the actual railways are doing their last sort of week of running, so I'm hoping to get a trip on the. I didn't get a chance today with looking after the new puppy. I had a chance to get on. Possibly a trip over to the Festiniog as well with the kids if I get a chance. I need to crack on with large scale commissions again. And I've got some 009, which is always popular. I've got some 009 work to be getting on with. A lot of projects actually are waiting on some extra pieces, so sometimes my friendship with Steve means some of the work I get done does jump the queue, especially the custom stuff. But if I order stuff from the Light Railway Store's website, my stuff's just in the same queue as all of you. So there's no special treatment. Steve just works through it in the order it arrives, and he's got a busy day job. So I'm waiting on a few plates and things from him. I've got 3 pretty much finished 009 locos already in a box, and then another 2 to work on. So I've got a NGG 16, Michael Tucker print, I think. I'm building a full Walshart's valve gear for it, and then I've got another Dolgok to do. I've actually got a load of coaches as well that I found that one of my good customers reminded me that I had. So, and then once they're done, and if the large scale builds aren't done or aren't taking up the focus, then I'll be into etched brass then. So I've got 2 locos and a piece of rolling stock to build in brass. And then that's probably, I'm starting at that point to hit the buffers in terms of work. So if you've got a project that you'd like me to work on for you, whether it's layout design, weathering, repainting, the only things I don't do is I don't do anything Canadian or American like this, so you can't commission me to do anything like this, and I don't do British modern image end scale, but anything else is fair game. So get in touch for a no obligation proposal. We'll work out what you need, what it is you want, what you hope to achieve, work out a price, and if you like it, we'll go from there. Anyway, I've waffled on. You've heard the loco, you've heard my voice. Well, hopefully it's not been too quiet. You are all the way down there after all. That'll be it for this evening, so let's just watch the train leave, and until next time, see you all again soon.